Yes.
What I'm doing is drawing out a door. Before we put the chicks in there, we were in a little bit of a rush to get done because rain was coming in the next couple of days. So we got the chicks in there. We cut a door that same day, and now I'm having to come back and cut a second door. The first door we cut was 1.5 feet wide, which is a little bit narrow. This door here is going to be 2 foot by 2 foot square. We are also going to, on this inside, to reinforce it whenever we cut this out, the plywood's going to get a little bit weak. So what I'm going to do is I've got a treated 1x4. We're going to cut it about 2 foot long, or say about 2 foot, because 2 foot's from the middle of this 2x4 here. We're going to cut it and put it on the inside, and then screw it back. That treated 1x4 on the inside will help reinforce it and help keep the wind and rain out. Then we'll cut another one and put right here. I'm trying to cut this where it's right here at the edge of this vertical corner post. Then the hinges, I'll screw the hinges into this corner post. I've got this skill saw set so it's not going all the way into the board. It's only going about, say, 1/2 inch or 5/8 into the board. The door's been cut. The hinges have been screwed on. Got some touch-up paint to do out there. Using a saw, we got about a 1/8 of an inch crack all the way down. Open up. This is where the trap door is going to be. Hey, chick, 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 chick. My 1 gallon waterer is hanging from a, I don't know what you call it, just a loop where the thread is designed to go into a, like hold something that you screw in a wood. An eye bolt, eye lug, whatever. You got the 1 gallon water hanging. Got about an inch crack between the water and the floor. Trying to get the birds where they won't step into the water. Got the small water that they're used to right next to it. So whenever we're trying to get them to associate the water that they've been using with a new waterer, this board here is going to be pulled up. And there's going to be a ladder going down right here that I'll be able to pull up and down. This is a 2 foot door, 2 foot wide door. Works out a lot better than the 1.5 foot, 18 inch door on the other side. I need to put a 1x4 up here on top to help block the wind and the rain from going in. See, I've got about a 1 inch overlap. This is a treated 1x4. I'm gonna paint it, got a couple of screws in it. Here's the latches for the egg collection door. I've got some eye bolts that I'm going to screw up here and then use trot line string to go down and hold these on so I don't have to hold them. The idea is just to screw a eye bolt into here, then trot line string to here, so I can just drop this down and not have to hold on to it. Whoop, better close that door, them chickens will get out. Look, they're already trying to get over here and see what's going on. Have to turn this over. Oh, come on. There we go. Hopefully no coons will be able to get in here. That got about a 1/8 of an inch gap for swelling of the wood, warping, drops down. I've got 3 4-inch hinges screwed into the wood. These screws were a little bit long. They're sticking out the back side. I'm gonna take some sandpaper. Well, I've got a grinder that I'm going to come back and just knock those points off with. I've got an electric grinder. I'm just going to come back and just kind of knock those points off so if anybody brushes up against it, it won't cut them. And there's our egg collection area. Yeah, he wants to get out, see what's going on. Just reach in there, get your eggs. Remember the 3/4 gap that I was talking about? Filled up with pine shavings so that we just scoop and go underneath that 3/4 gap. If I ever built this again, well, I've got another half to build. Then I'm probably going to go with a 1-inch gap right here. So it'll be a little bit easier to clean out. Just reach in here and just scrape it out underneath that 3/4 inch gap. And it leaves plenty of room to reach in there, get the eggs. And also I like the idea of it opening. I'm probably going to put a grab handle right here in the middle so that I can get right here in the middle, ease it down, see if there's any snakes in there without exposing myself. And then I can open it up. I mean, one of the worst things is to just open it up and there'd be a snake in there eating on the eggs. That would just freak me out. I'd have to go get a shotgun and blast a hole in it. All right. I've got another latch. This right here is just a temporary. Got a latch with another carabiner. Let's see. Got some of these latches here. Here's my eye bolts that I'm going to be using for the trot line string and the carabiners. And here we are putting the latches on the door. I've got this countersunk about 1 inch, and I'm going to countersink the top, or recessed about 1 inch. Over here I'm going to recess this board coming down about 3/4 of an inch. I've got this one here about 1/2 inch. Using some C-clamps to hold it in place. There we go. Got the 3 factory screws. Got the 1 inch long screw here, 1 inch long screw here on each side of the hinge. And I guess I should have measured, make these kind of symmetrical. Same on both sides, kind of like what I did there. The hasp is going to go here. Then I'm going to set the same thing up with the carabiner and the trot line string as I did here, so that I can just take and put the carabiner on there, flip it over upside down like that. So if a coon comes up here and tries to open that and pull it up, see, he can't get it out. He'd have to turn it all the way over and then take it loose. So I'm hoping that'll defeat them little varmints. Nylon trot line string should last for years, and if it doesn't, then I've got several hundred feet more, several thousand feet more, and it's cheap. We've got this overlapping about 3/8 of an inch as a wind and water barrier, so that whenever the cold weather sets in, we'll try to eliminate as many drafts or openings as drafts as I can. Another board is going to go right here down a little bit. You see how that's going to fit together, of where we'll eliminate a draft hole right here. I'll have to come back and repaint all this. Used those 1 inch long wood screws, and then they did not go through. Want to try to have as few as possible points sticking out so that the chickens won't get poked. And here's the latch. Got the eye bolt screwed in place. Piece of trot line string on the carabiner. I would have liked to use some heavier screws in this, the ones that came with the hasp, but these big ones would be sticking out real far, so if I need to, I'll replace them with something else later on. Just loop that on there like that. Turn it over, and there we go. Hopefully that'll defeat any raccoons or anything that tries to come up here besides a person. Flip it over. Undo it. Drop it down. That way I don't have to worry about looking for it in the middle of the night. I don't have to worry about putting it in my pocket. I don't have to worry about dropping it. It's right there, right where I want it. Open it up. Check on the chicks. They're all down there in that corner box. This is one of the things that's given me the most problems, is their gate that they're going to be using, the chickens are going to be using to get in and out of the hutch, or the chicken coop. This is spaced 1.5 inches apart. Well, this is spaced like 2 inches apart because I had to split the difference between the last two. This one's 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches. Used just a 2x4 spacer all the way down. What happened though is that if I worry about the chickens getting in there and then having enough angle to turn their toes up and step up. That's 3/4 inch. I didn't want to make it too small so that they'd get their toes in there and then pinch them as they try to step forward, so that's 3/4 inch. That's, to me, could be a pretty good sized snake. Then whenever you pull it up, see, that's 3/4 by 1.5 inches. That is a little bit big for what I wanted. So what I'm going to do is that, and also the other problem is that on this gate, is that something could get underneath and just push it up. Well, I need to shave off a little bit, but something could just push it off. It's a little bit tight. Somebody could just push it up, and hey, guess what? They get inside the chicken coop. Coon or something crawl up the ladder, just push it up and walk right on in and let it down and eat my chickens or chicken eggs, and then if it's smart enough to get back out, it just lifts the gate back up and crawls back out and just gone. So a very simple fix to both problems is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a 1x4. Thought I had a piece of 1x4 around here. But anyway, I'm going to take a piece of 1x4 and I'm going to run it from here all the way back to right there. And it's going to go from right about here. I may even put it like right there for a door stop. But anyway, it's going to go from right here over where that will come up and hit the 1x4 and stop. And I'll seal it off. On the bottom, underneath these rungs, I'm going to take this hardware cloth, cut it and staple it to the bottom. So the hardware cloth will keep anything from coming up through the bottom. And then the 1x4 on each side will stop anything from coming through this 1.5 inches by 3/4 inch hole. Say hi, guys. Here's with the two 1x4s in place. I'm still thinking about it. I don't know if I'm going to keep this or not, because it only allows 11.5 inches, about a foot, for the chickens to go through there. Let's see. I'm sorry, 10.25 inches. See, I don't know if that's going to be enough or not. I'm thinking about taking this board and moving it back here to the edge, up against the 2x4 there, so I may notch it out a little bit. Where this ladder, where the ladder stopped, let's see if I can get over here. See, there's a 2-inch opening right there. So I took and put a piece of that doorstop material there on each end. This over here is probably a rip of a 1x12. Screwed it in, used some staples to staple the wire to it, and now it's sealed up on each end, so there's no snake or anything can come through there. I am a little bit concerned about right here, but it's, you know, just, you can't do everything. So I'm thinking about ripping this board maybe in half, moving it over, and putting it, moving it over, say 3/4 inch or so, trying to open that up. Here's the vent window I'm working on. It's 2 foot long, and it's the width of a 1x4. And the concept is that we'll fold it down. We'll have another 1x4 running here with a latch, and then another 1x4 here holding this wire in. So whenever I get finished, it'll be totally boxed in, and this 1/2 inch hardware cloth will be blocking any snakes or anything that tries to get in there. Then I'll have one after I finish the coop. The other half of the coop, I'll put one like that on the other end, so it'll have a 2-foot window, air window on each side. And then I'll probably put, I don't know, some type of vent up there on the very top, so that any methane or anything that builds up, a little breeze, so a breeze can go in there. But I just want something to make sure that whatever I put on there has some type of mesh, some type of screen to stop snakes from getting in. Ryan, what are you doing?
The chickens.
That's a little tight. I might take my pocket knife and kind of shave that off a little bit right there, or file it. You talking to the chickens, Ryan? All right, there we go. Now I just need to kind of smooth that in with a pocket knife or a file, so it'll go down, and then I'm going to put a piece right there to box it in. Here's our vent window. Well, one of them anyway. I'm planning on building a couple of more. We've got 3 2-inch long screws going through the 1x4, through the plywood, and into the 2x4 in the back side. See the top of the 2x4 up there. I put a 2x4 running from here to here on the inside, so all of these screws go through the 1x4, through the plywood, and into the 2x4 on the other side. And there we go. It's 2 foot long by 4 inches wide. I'll be putting another one on the opposite side of the coop whenever the other side's built. 1/2 inch hardware cloth. The hardware cloth overlaps 2 inches here, all the way down, 2 inches across here, and then 2 inches up here. So there's no way that this hardware cloth is going to be pulled out by anything. Might even come in and put me another screw. These screws here are the 2-inch long screws instead of the ones that came with the hinges. So this hinge here and this one here is held on through the 1x4, through the plywood, and into the 2x4 behind it. We latch it down for winter time, keep the cold air out, up, and it fits snug against the tin and just stays in place. If I have to, I'll put me a nail or something up here and bend it over. Let's take a look at the inside. See what it looks like. Hey chicks, I'm only gonna bother you for a minute. There's the 2x4 on the inside. Gives that frame reinforcement from the outside, so we're not just screwing it. So we're just not screwing it into plywood. We're going to something all the way through the plywood and into a good heavy 2x4 on the inside.